Alright guys, optimizing your computer so you can have the best cooling possible. The last episode, or part one I guess, we went through and made sure our fans were plugged into our motherboard so we could control them, and they were monitored and they were facing the right direction. We got rid of all the dust. Now we're going to go through and do some fan curves and get the best optimization from our fans that we can do. Alright, and so from here on out, I'm just going to do a voiceover of the video because I feel like the video is just stretched out with too much unnecessary information. So I did a couple different tests. I did a GPU stress test. I did in-game. I didn't have to stress test my CPU because we had those numbers from our prior video, so I had all those numbers written down. And so in this video, I go through, you'll see this website where I was able to figure out I could stress my GPU on a website. That's pretty cool. And so now here's part of the video where I loaded up Arc Raiders. Doesn't look like it's doing too hot, to tell you the truth. Looks like it froze a bit. But anywho, it was fine on my side. It wasn't doing that at OBS. Well, I guess I was doing that at OBS. But so here I found in part of my footage that it was actually running pretty smoothly, surprisingly. I'll have to figure that out before I record videos on Arc Raiders. So that's another problem. That for later in the series. Alright, so after messing around in the BIOS for my fan curves and everything, I found out that out of my 4 fans, only 2 of them are controllable to a fan curve. The other 2 are a 3-pin, so you can't control them. And they're really slow, it turned out. So one fan that's controllable is on the top of my case, and another fan that's controllable is attached to my radiator to my AIO. Alright, and then here we are to the website for Zotac, since I have a Zotac RTX 3070 Ti. The program that I was using to control the graphics card and do some overclock stuff was the EVGA Precision, but they don't have a fan control place in that, so I went ahead and got the Zotac specific program, and I was able to do my fan curves through that, which is awesome. Alright, now here we are with the GPU stress test, and after going through all my fan curves on the GPU and doing an aggressive fan curve in my case, which I can only do my AIO and the top fan, unfortunately, here are the results. So before on the GPU, we were looking at 60 degrees, after 59 degrees. The CPU core temp was 66 degrees, and then after it was 62, so that was a pretty good improvement. CPU socket 49, after 48%. And here's where you can see the results. Before it was 56% on the fan speed, and now it's 60 to 61% on the fan speed. So that relates to the cooler temperatures. System temps were overall was 42 degrees before. After it's 41 degrees. The MOSFET connector 47. After 49, which why that increase was probably because of some heat soak, but also because of the cooler temps, so it was able to supply more voltage probably. The PCH, which is your Northbridge, 47 before, after 42, and then the case fan before was 980 RPMs, and now is sitting at a little over 1,000, like 1,060, which, there you go, that relates to cooler temperatures overall. And then here we are in the CPU stress test part. Not a whole lot changed. Case fans maxed out. That's as fast as it goes, it looks like. But look at the CPU temperature. It went from 97 degrees to 96 overall. That was the highest it hit. So that's pretty good. That's an improvement, a 1 degree improvement. So not bad. MOSFET hotter, probably because it was putting out more power. PCH, the Northbridge, probably hotter because it's been heat soaked and the room's toasty. But overall, oh, I got GPU still on here. Yeah, I didn't record the GPU temp on this because it's not GPU related. Alright, now into the juicy stuff. Actual real world numbers. So before in the game Arc Raiders, our CPU was 89 degrees, and after it's 90, probably because, oh, you know, I don't really know, to tell you the truth. I'm just bringing stuff out of my butt. But CPU socket before was 71, and after it's 69. So that tells me that whatever I did with that fan curve helped at the socket side of it. So the heat is down. The top side of the CPU is a little hotter, but deep inside where it connects to the motherboard, it's cooler. So I take that as a win. And then adjusting the one fan that I could adjust, it had some improvements. System side went from 45 degrees down to 42 degrees. The MOSFET connector went from 70 down to 65. The PCH or Northbridge, whatever you want to call it, went from 45 degrees down to 42 degrees. Case fan was at 1,540 RPMs, and it actually dropped to 1,440 RPMs. GPU temps went from 66 down to 63. So the fan curve on the GPU, the top case fan, and the AIO fan had a pretty good improvement. I am pretty happy with that. But that brought up some issues that I had, and so now I'm going to buy all new fans and redo this test to see how much more efficient I could get these temps down. So if you liked the video, leave a like down below, hit that subscribe button off to the side, and the video above YouTube says video above is YouTube's recommended video that you would like. Love you guys. Peace.